This is Eric Muathe at Muathe.com. A quick follow-up to a video I did at the open of today's general market session for January 19th, 2021. So this is going to be a follow-up. So for this to make sense, take a look at the previous video. The link is going to be in the description of this video. All right, let's get to it. Here we can see about 5 hours since the previous video. There is Ethereum, there is Litecoin, and Bitcoin just turned slightly negative. I want to give you a quick update again as an educational video for short-term swing trading. Oh, and by the way, also markets coming a little bit off the intraday highs. I should mention here, I think that both the market, the general market, stocks that is, and cryptos are pretty much gonna be following each other almost one for one. I don't think they are separate entities. I think they reflect the sentiment, the general sentiment in the market as a whole. And in the big picture scheme of things, wherever the cryptos are gonna go is pretty much gonna be following the general market, not the other way around. I believe the general market sets the tone. All right, so a quick update. You can see here we are still seeing this negative divergence. In fact, now it looks very clear on the 4 hourly. So a quick update there. And also don't forget that we have that uniformity resistance line potentially. So right now, if you are to play the swing trade game, this is setting the stage and has been setting the stage for a pullback. The only way to change this is to turn around and clear this RSI resistance level. So right now, net, without knowing what the future is going to bring, we can assume that the market is positioning as far as Ethereum and the cryptos are concerned for a swing trade lower. That is Ethereum. Take a look at Litecoin, and I'm going to go through this quickly because it's a quick follow-up. I mentioned this in the previous video, link in the description. We have, again, this line here, RSI topside. We're already seeing there's some reaction lower here, so this makes sense. And there's the uniformity line I discussed in the morning. The only thing that can change this is a movement above the two lines, which is possible, by the way. We always have to be open to the market deciding its own direction, which would mean that if it can clear those two lines to the upside, there could be more upside. Right now, as we've seen with Ethereum, right now things are pointing from a swing trade perspective to a market that is hinting at a swing trade lower based on resistance on these two lines right there. If we take a look at BTC on the 4 hourly again, we are still in the process of constructing this wedge. So we can see there's a small time wedge here and a topside resistance wedge. As I mentioned, the true direction from a swing trade perspective is going to come either with a blast above that to push prices higher, or we end up breaking below this wedge and we see movement lower. Keep in mind, we are trading slightly above RSI 50, which means that a slide below RSI 50, and that's also another lesson here, a slide below 50 means that the swing trade is going to have good momentum to the downside if and when the RSI intraday slashes below 50. Right now at 50.51. As I was mentioning, I suspect that these markets are pretty much connected, general markets and cryptos. This is the Nasdaq, and we can take a look at the Nasdaq and we can see something similar to what we are seeing with the cryptos here. This is the 4 hourly. Keep in mind the Nasdaq is pretty much essentially trying to break out here on the 4 hourly, as you can see. But you can see that your RSI is showing a little bit of a decline there. In fact, if we take a look at the 2 hourly, we can see that the market seems to be responding to this level. So, a breakout attempt that is coming with the possibility of a declining strength on the RSI. Those are the topside resistance line. So if the two markets, the cryptos and the general market, are to be connected, then this would suggest ultimately it responds to the same thing we've seen with LTC, Ethereum, And this would suggest that the general market, also US markets, for a swing trade could be setting the stage for movement lower in this options expiration week. Again, purely from an educational, short-term swing trading perspective. Remember, for US markets also to drop, just like we saw with the cryptos, this RSI lows line would have to be broken to the downside as a requirement for there to be any type of a strong sell-off. Eric Muathe, Muathe.com. Love light, light love. Namaste.